Inspiration comes and goes in waves, and lately I have found myself drawn in many different directions. This time of year, with its grey and misty days and endless cozy evenings beside the fire, allows for more time and space to think of crafting. I've also felt myself drawn to revisit resting projects that I worked on in previous years, till they were put aside when light and warmth returned. So thank you for joining me as I give you an overview of all my knitting and spinning works in progress. Alright, so I'm hoping I would have done some kind of voiceover or something as an intro to this video, because I just want to dive straight into showing you all my whips. I've gathered them behind me, I'm not sure. There were a few more than I thought. So let's start with my sweet shop blanket. It's covered in the rest of the whips right now, so I'll probably overlay some sort of footage to show you how big it is. I started it 2 years ago maybe, or no, not a year ago, 2 years ago. And as a way to knit through all my scraps. And then I put it on hold because I'd gotten through the scraps. So it's on pause right now until I've gathered a bit more, and then I can continue knitting on it till it's the size I like it to be. I definitely recommend this pattern if you want to knit through your scraps. It was a very enjoyable knit, and I look forward to continuing on it once I've gathered a few more. I want to have enough to be able to add at least another row, and then preferably not all blue. For my taste, the pattern is perhaps a touch wordy, but I love how many tips were added to fully make the blanket your own. Highly recommend a look through the many projects on Ravelry as well. I think that's my oldest whip. Then second oldest is this, which is a sock tube I knit also 2 years ago. And all I have to do is separate the two halves, knit toes, knit heels, and then I'm done. And I've just not done it. I don't really like the colors. I just wanted to knit through the yarn. So I'm sure I got to it at some point. Just at some point when I don't have other knits going on that I'm really excited about, I guess. Then let's move on to another sock whip, and that is this one. I started in this last summer out of Filcolana Arvetta, and I'm probably gonna have to frog this because it's too big. I've also dropped stitches. Over the years I used to knit a lot of socks, but right now I don't really anymore, because I tend to knit them on small circulars, and they tend to hurt my hands a bit when I knit too much of it. And we have quite a few socks right now, so it's not really a priority either. And then over the years as well, my tension has loosened up quite a bit. So that's why these turned out big. I'd forgotten that I'd reduced the number of stitches I tend to cast on. So I've cast on 64, which was what I used to do. But I probably need to cast on 60 or maybe even 56. But that's not for right now. we'll get to that at some point as well. Let's go to the next. No, I have another blanket whip in that basket, but we'll get to that a bit later, I think. Let's quickly show you this one in handspun. This is I cast this on every time. I've cast this on a few weeks ago, I guess. I'm not really sure. Not that long ago. It's on 3mm. It will be the Silly Gansey by the Raw Wool Company. It will be for my boyfriend. Let's see, I've knit in handspun. So this is handspun Finu. Let's see. As you can see, there's a bit of variegation. So you see it's turning out a bit stripy, which I don't mind. It's also creased because I've had it folded up in this project bag I made last winter when I started seriously trying to learn how to sew. I can really recommend project bags for that because they are you don't have to actually fit in them, so they are a bit easier. But I'm now at the point where I'm going to start the texture on the upper body. I'm not really a fan of bottom-up knitting because I never quite know how long I have to make them. But I made these the body so far a bit long. So if it's too long, I can just pick up stitches and then cut off the ribbing and then re-knit ribbing. But I'm hoping I've guessed correctly. We'll see. The reason that that's sort of on hold right now is because I've been obsessively knitting on this project. And for that, I think we can go back to last week, because then I filmed as well and showed you how far I'd gotten back then. I've exclusively knit on my Leggings project, the Berkeley tights, and I've gotten surprisingly far, to be honest, considering that this is knit on 2.5mm. So yeah, I suspect I'm gonna need to change the I-cord ties, although once I actually put it on, I think it won't have that much. Well, they are definitely too long right now. And then I also suspect they might be too bulky for wearing under dresses, which is what I'm gonna want to do. Because you're gonna see this. But I have a plan for changing that. But I'll try it on first. We'll get to that when I get to that. So yeah. This has been such lovely yarn to knit. I'm actually really proud of myself for spinning this. I feel like it's just been flying off the needles. I did wear my wrist brace while knitting this, just because I've been knitting so much. And a few years back, before I really started knitting even, I got quite a lot of pain in my wrist, unrelated to the knitting. I think, and I went to a physiotherapist and I got some exercises to do, and then she also recommended wearing a wrist brace when I need a little bit of extra support. And just putting that on means that I'm not quite as tense, and it supports sort of, I tend to get pain here. It's just a little bit of extra support for that. I've not really been experiencing pain lately, otherwise I would not be knitting quite as much as I have been doing. But yeah. I've definitely been flying through the yarn as well. So soon, since I've spun, this is my first 100 grams, I've spun 200 grams. But soon I'm guessing I'm gonna need to take a break from knitting and spin a little bit more if I want to be able to continue. Yeah. Then after knitting quite a lot, once I felt like I've gotten a bit of my energy back, I went on a lovely forest walk. It was so stunning. It's been raining today, all day, so it was very, just when I went outside it had let up a bit, but before that it had been raining quite a lot. And I find that the moss becomes so vibrant and green. And there were all these tiny, tiny mushrooms everywhere, tiny white mushrooms. Oh, it felt quite magical, and just allowing myself to take the time to go really slowly and take my camera with me and just notice all the tiny details was wonderful. And I also found this new area, which was sort of enclosed by tall trees, and then it opened up. It's really, really near my house, so it's surprising I hadn't found it before. Since then, I've separated for the legs. I've seamed up as well just today, and I've done the first sort of repeat of decreases on both legs, and I've tried it on just before filming, and it fits. I'm feeling fairly confident that this will be a successful finished project. But I'm spinning for this. This is also knit in handspun, except for this. This is leftover, just scraps of fennel that I'm probably going to have to change, as I think I mentioned in the last clip. But yeah, I'm spinning for this, and I got too excited to cast on, so I haven't actually finished spinning through it, and this is all I've left that I've spun up. I have about 50 grams in singles on the bobbin right there on my spinning wheel, and I have the rest of the fiber here. I braided it up. It came in like a... It just keeps going. So yeah, I definitely have quite a bit left to do. So I'm thinking that for the upcoming days / week, I'm gonna have to slow down significantly on the knitting and get to spinning, so I can continue it, or I'll just knit through the rest that I have and then pick up another project, because clearly I have plenty. And now I'm guessing in editing I'm going to slot in the footage of the forest walk here, because my next work in progress is heavily inspired by the forest walk, and I'm thinking it will go nicely to just see the forest first, and then I can talk about the next project.
foresee the fall. Maybe it's time to decide what to do with the fact that it happens to us all. From time to time it all comes around, and no one knows the end. We're all building bridges slowly, tearing them down fast to start over. We're all trying to come over memories of the past and start over. The past can start over. Start over. Stay alive to prevent all the chaos, but happiness can't wait.
The next project is a blanket that I'm self-drafting. Knit in a combination of Let Loppy, Help Double, and is it called Alafat Loppy? I think so, the thicker one. And this is my little swatch. Oh, Let Loppy has such beautiful colors. The variation in them is just, they look so lively. So yeah, I think I'll put up the sort of plan I made on the computer. I started this last year. It's been on hold for a while. So this is what I planned, heavily inspired by quilting images I found online. So the plan is that this will be sort of like this, and then a square around them, and it will be a lovely blanket, maybe slightly prickly, but it's not like it will be next to skin. I'm not that sensitive. I'm really not sensitive to wool, so it will be fine. And this is the one I'm working on right now. It's a really comfortable, easy knit. It's just garter with slip stitches on the edges, which I'm gonna seam up later. The reason I've put it on hold is because I had to order more yarn, and at that time I wanted to knit through the things I had first before ordering more, and then I got distracted by everything. But looking at it now, I'm really tempted to pick it back up. It's just that I'm obviously, it being self-drafted, I don't really have a pattern to follow, so I need to read through everything and figure out what I was planning. Likewise for the colors, I need to order what colors I ordered. This is the center that I have. As you see, the swatch was held single, and this is held double. So squishy. And I've knit a significant amount, so some are finished. Others I ran out of yarn for, so they are on hold till I order more. I'm not too worried about dye lots and such for this, because it's a lot of different colors anyway, and usually commercial yarn I never really noticed a difference in the times that I've had to order more, and it was a different dye lot, so not worried. But yeah, there's definitely green missing. I have some green yarn, so I could get started on those, but I'm guessing I just need to sort through it, figure out where I'm at and how I want to continue. Which, who knows, I might get to this week. Probably not. I'm knitting it on 8mm needles, so it is going very, very quickly, and it's very thick. 8mm is, I knit most comfortable on, I think, 4.5mm. The legging project and the sweater project I showed you, the sweater project is on 3mm, the legging project on 2.5, and that's been going surprisingly well and knits very easily and quickly. 8mm is definitely getting to the point that it's I can't really get into the flow that I can get on slightly smaller needles, but on the other hand, since it is so thick, it's also going very quickly anyway, and it's quite nice to, I think it's quite nice to sort of be able to change out to different needle size. So it's obviously I spent quite a lot of time knitting, and it feels prudent to sort of care for my wrists and joints. Next up is a project you've also already seen if you've watched previous videos, and this is this book club cardigan. The reason I originally put this one down is because I ran out of yarn. I've since ordered more. Let's see. I've ordered two more balls of yarn. As you can see, I don't notice a difference. I suppose it's a different dye lot, but I threw away the yarn band, so I'm not even sure. The reason I haven't picked this up again is because I've read through quite a few projects on Ravelry for this one. Clearly not enough, because everyone said that they ran out of yarn. And I thought I'd ordered enough anyway, but no, clearly not. But I read through quite a few projects on Ravelry, and the feedback was that the arms were quite tight. So I believe I picked up 3 stitches out of every 4. But I'm not sure, so I need to count how many stitches I actually picked up so I can recreate it. And then also the decreases. I can't quite remember what I did there. Probably should have written it out. So I need to go back and check that as well. And since I have so many other projects that are just easy to pick up and work on, I haven't gotten around to it. But I can try this one on. What I was wearing, the sweater is the drop sweater by Albina McLaughlin in Sandnes Garn, Fritids Garn. I'll put the dye lot. And this is Tolstati in Rauma Petunia. This is a cotton. I tend to wear this a ton. So anyway, the book club cardigan. So yeah, I quite like the sleeves as they are. Oh. I really should finish it. Perhaps this week, probably not either, because there's just quite a lot going on. I've been quite chaotic lately. I tend to knit on one project and then I tend to have different projects going on at the same time, but definitely not several big garment projects, sweater projects. But it's been fun anyway, so. The final hang on. Then there are these slippers, which I still have to felt. I still have to felt this one. It looks quite funny. I haven't gotten around to that yet either. When I mentioned it in the clip earlier, I ended up that evening spinning and knitting instead. Felting requires a bit more setup, and I don't know. Knitting is so easy because you just, whenever you sit down, you can pick it up and knit some stitches, and then it tends to be what I'm doing mostly. But we'll get to that at some point as well. Then the final thing I have to show you is another spinning project, which I also showed you in the last video. This black vinyl. I got some of the fiber. It's this such a soft wool vinyl with these pretty sort of light brown tips, but then when you spin it, it's definitely black, I'd say, although compared to this dyed Corriedale, because this is the natural color of the sheep, you can definitely see that this is way warmer than this. So yeah, anyway, I'm spinning on this, and I'm spinning it long draw, so I'm carding Rolex, and then I'm spinning long draw in an attempt to make a lofty and airy yarn, which I feel like it is quite successful. I put it on hold just because I really wanted to have the leggings so I could wear my dresses, which felt a bit more pressing at the time, because out of this I'm gonna knit a vest together with this white vinyl, which I also have yet to spin, obviously. And the vest I was planning to wear over specifically my like dark turquoise, very modified hinterland dress, which I sewed in the summer. But to be able to wear that right now, I definitely need leggings. So this does not feel like it has such a hurry behind it. So that's why I put it on hold. But once I've spun through this, I'm definitely excited to get back to that. I've been really enjoying knitting color work for these slippers. So yeah, definitely also an exciting project. I have too much inspiration at the moment. And obviously thinking up new projects, it goes quite fast. Actually doing them, maybe not so much. And then one sort of final work in progress that I'm not sure counts really is this tiny trial spin on I believe this is a mix of Gotland and also Fenol. that I'm hoping eventually to weave with this this fiber. For a single, it feels quite strong, although obviously I did break it when I but that's I've never really I've woven one trasmatte rook before in at the local weaving werfstuga, and otherwise I haven't woven before, but I was gifted a floor loom from someone who had gotten it from someone else who was no longer able to weave, so it's like not second hand, like third or fourth hand. So I really want to get going on that as well, but that requires me learning quite a few new things. So far that I've been stuck in the sort of gathering knowledge till I feel ready to get started on that. And obviously I'm not gonna start with handspun. I was gifted some yarn from someone else who weaves quite a lot, but not with wool, so she weaves rugs, and that was fairly old weaving yarn that she found in an outhouse somewhere. And she thought I might be able to use it, so I'm thinking I'm gonna start with some of that, because since it was gifted and it didn't cost me anything, I might not feel equally as scared to waste the materials on learning something new. But we'll get to that when it feels right. Same for all these projects, really. I mean, I'm doing this for fun. I don't really have a schedule. There's no need for me to finish things. I don't do test knits or anything like that, because the idea of having to finish something, I think that would take the fun out of it for me. Though if I finish basically everything, it's not like I'm gonna leave them in this sort of half-finished state. It's just a matter of when. So yeah. Perhaps I'll take you along with me as I get going, maybe pick up some of these projects, get a start on them or restart on them. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. So I've had a few questions regarding my life and thought I'd try to provide some more context. A couple of years ago I moved to Sweden to a slightly run-down house surrounded by forest and lakes, together with my boyfriend. And though we don't have access to many of the comforts that are an expected part of life in the Netherlands, where I am originally from, I love it here. Not in the least because this means life is cheaper, which has meant for me that I have to work less and get more time for my creative pursuits. I currently work within healthcare a couple days a week. If that, to be honest. I know some people also asked whereabout I live, but since this is public for anyone to see, I don't really feel comfortable being more specific. And as a final note, I wanted to thank you all for all the lovely comments I have received on my previous video. Your kindness is definitely an unexpected bonus to making these. I'm very inspired to keep on making them and have quite a list of things I want to get to. So thank you for watching. I hope you have found some inspiration in this video, and I will see you for the next one.